You can Postmate almost anything, like some relief after a long day. You can
The place I'm from, I got lots of shawty tryna pull up to my place. You ain't want change to a dancer. Yeah. Internet money, bitch. I got black, I got white. What you want? Hop outside a ghost and hop up in a fan on. I know I'm about to blow. Why you done? They try to take my floor, I take their ass for ransom. I know that I'm gone. They see me blowing up, now they say they want some. I got two twin vibes, turning to a dancer. I see two twin eyes, leaving on the band. I got two thick thighs, wanna lick the. I got red, I got blue. What you want? The Chanel, Balenciaga, Louis Vuitton. She know I got the Fendi Prada when I belong. I needed me a diorama, I need me the one. I started from the bottom, you can see the way I start. I want all the diamonds, I want that shit to wear time. The op, they tryna lie me, cause they hate the place I'm from. But them niggas don't know me, they just know the place I'm from. I got lots of shawty tryna pull up to my place. You ain't want me last year, so just get up on my face. They all up in my inbox, so I know they wanna taste. I know they want my downfall, a nigga, are you lit? I got black, I got white, what you want? Hop outside a ghost and hop up in a fan on. I know I'm about to blow, why you done? They try to take my floor, I take their ass for ransom. I know that I'm gone. They see me blowing up, now they say they want some. I got two twin vibes, turning to a dancer. I see two twin eyes, leave them on the band. I got two thick thighs, wanna lick the game. I got black, I got white, what you want? Hop outside a ghost and hop up in a fan on. I know I'm about to blow, why you done? They try to take my floor, I take their ass for ransom. I know that I'm gone. They see me blowing up, now they say they want some. I got two twin vibes, turning to a dancer. I see two twin eyes, leave them on the band. I got two thick thighs, wanna lick the game, I got black, I got white, what you want? Hop outside a ghost and hop up in a fan on. I know I'm about to blow, why you done? They try to take my floor, I take their ass for ransom. I know that I'm gone. They see me blowing up, now they say they want some. I got two twin vibes, turning to a dancer. I see two twin eyes, leave them on the band. I got two thick thighs, wanna lick the. I got red, I got blue, what you want? The Chanel, Balenciaga, Louis Vuitton. She know I got the Fendi Prada when I belong. I needed me a diorama, I need me the one. I started from the bottom, you can see the way I start. I want all the diamonds, I want that shit to wear time. The op, they tryna lie me, cause they hate the place I'm from. But them niggas don't know me, they just know the place I'm from. I got lots of shawty tryna pull up to my place. You ain't want me last year, so just get up on my face. They all up in my inbox, so I know they wanna taste. I know they want my downfall, a nigga, are you lit? I got black, I got white, what you want? Hop outside a ghost and hop up in a fan on. I know I'm about to blow, why you done? They try to take my floor, I take their ass for ransom. I know that I'm gone. They see me blowing up, now they say they want some. I got two twin vibes, turning to a dancer. I see two twin eyes, leave them on the band. I got two thick thighs, wanna lick the game. I got black, I got white, what you want? Hop outside a ghost and hop up in a fan on. I know I'm about to blow, why you done? They try to take my floor, I take their ass for ransom. I know that I'm gone. They see me blowing up, now they say they want some. I got two twin vibes, turning to a dancer. I see two twin eyes, leave them on the band. I got two thick thighs, wanna lick the game, I got black, I got white, what you want? Hop outside a ghost and hop up in a fan on. I know I'm about to blow, why you done? They try to take my floor, I take their ass for ransom. I know that I'm gone. They I got red, I got blue, what you want? The Chanel, Balenciaga, Louis Vuitton. She know I got the Fendi Prada when I hit along. I needed me a diorama, I need me the one. I started from the bottom, you can see the way I stung. I want all the diamonds, I want that shit to wear a ton. The op, they tryna lie me, cause they hate the place I'm from. But them niggas don't know me, they just know the place I'm from. I got lots of shawties tryna pull up to my place. But you ain't want me last year, so just get up on my face. They all up in my inbox, so I know they wanna taste. I know they want my downfall, a nigga, are you lit? I got black, I got white, what you want? Hop outside a ghost and hop up in a fan, I know I'm about to blow, I ain't done. They try to take my floor, I take their ass for ransom. I know that I'm gone. They see me blowing up, now they say they want some. I got two twin vibes, turn you to a dancer. I see two twin eyes, leave them with a band on. I got two thick thighs, wanna live the game. I got black, I got white, what you want? Hop outside a ghost and hop up in a fan, I know I'm about to blow, I ain't done. They try to take my floor, I take their ass for ransom. I know that I'm gone. They see me blowing up, now they say they want some. I got two twin vibes, turn you to a dancer. I see two twin eyes, leave them with a band on. I got two thick thighs, wanna live the game, I got black, I got white, what you want? Hop outside a ghost and hop up in a fan, I know I'm about to blow, I ain't done. They try to take my floor, I take their ass for ransom. I know that I'm gone. They see me blowing up, now they say they want some. I got two twin vibes, turn you to a dancer. I see two twin eyes, leave them with a band on. I got two thick thighs, wanna live the game. I got red, I got blue, what you want? The Chanel, Balenciaga, Louis Vuitton. She know I got the Fendi Prada when I hit along. I needed me a diorama, I need me the one. I started from the bottom, you can see the way I stung. I want all the diamonds, I want that shit to wear a ton. The op, they tryna lie me, cause they hate the place I'm from. But them niggas don't know me, they just know the place I'm from. I got lots of shawties tryna pull up to my place. But you ain't want me last year, so just get up on my face. They all up in my inbox, so I know they wanna taste. I know they want my downfall, a nigga, are you lit? I got black, I got white, what you want? Hop outside a ghost and hop up in a fan, I know I'm about to blow, I ain't done. They try to take my floor, I take their ass for ransom. I know that I'm gone. They see me blowing up, now they say they want some. I got two twin vibes, turn you to a dancer. I see two twin eyes, leave them with a band on. I got two thick thighs, wanna live the game. I got black, I got white, what you want? Hop outside a ghost and hop up in a fan, I know I'm about to blow, I ain't done. They try to take my floor, I take their ass for ransom. I know that I'm gone. They see me blowing up, now they say they want some. I got two twin vibes, turn you to a dancer. I see two twin eyes, leave them with a band on. I got two thick thighs, wanna live the game, I got black, I got white, what you want? Hop outside a ghost and hop up in a fan, I know I'm about to blow, I ain't done. They try to take my floor, I take their ass for ransom. I know that I'm gone. They see me blowing up, now they say they want some. I got two twin vibes, turn you to a dancer. I see two twin eyes, leave them with a band on. I got two thick thighs, wanna live the game. I got red, I got blue, what you want?
Hello, my name is Baptist Kyron.
Lois, you remind me of the Twizzler, because you're all fantastic.
Mexico, yeah. What we on, Blueface? How we coming? Yeah. I am a menace. Give me a ratchet like tennis. On with this shit like I'm Dennis. I started this shit on my business. Niggas be hating, trying to blemish my image. They want the smoke, 2 to 3 K with the scope. Extended clip long as a rope. We wipe his nose, tell like he had him a cold. I knew the boy was a hoe. Pull up with the gang, you know that we buying it. What is your set, nigga? What is you claiming? I am a beast, you cannot time it. Don't point a finger, this shit can get timed. These niggas hate, these niggas plotting. Ooh, we got money, I'm running this wallet. You say you a killer, little nigga stop it. In the shootout, your gun was dropping. You really a hoe. You pull up, I let that bitch blow. And just like some tissue, we wiping your nose. I was on stage with the strap in my show. If you play on my blow, put a tag on your toe. Put a nigga up, send him straight to the dog. 2 kills in the chest, make the fuck nigga hard. I'm a big dog, great thing, nigga, you a tall. This nigga, you my son, so they make me a father. I'm dead. Give me a ratchet like tennis. On with this shit like I'm Dennis. I started this shit on my business. Niggas be hating, trying to blemish my image. Who want the smoke? 2 to 3 K with the scope. Extended clip long as a rope. We wipe his nose, tell like he had him a cold. I knew that boy was a hoe. Blueface, baby. I bitch, I'm a low. Mac with the scope. I am Big Hobie, one phone call they go. Pick the wrong side, Glock put him courtside. Now he watching this shoot from the flow. Ooh, hold up, let me switch the flow. Chopper got a chopper, make a wrong move, Betty pop. Yeah, bitch call me daddy, bitch call me pop, but that boy below me. Bitch, I be yeah. You know if I hit it, then it was on camera. Hopped off the bus, and I hopped in a port and a man. 4G sitting on a 4-piece with a bitch, and I play with fire. Sometimes I burn bridge. Bet you ain't never met a nigga love swimming. Pull up like Tracy McGrady from the Pistons. Gotta keep a pistol for a fuck nigga dissing. Bet this chopper make him dance like a disco. I am a menace. Give me a ratchet like tennis. On with this shit like I'm Dennis. I started this shit on my business. Niggas be hating, trying to blemish my image. Who want the smoke? 2 to 3 K with the scope. Extended clip long as a rope. We wipe his nose, tell like he had him a cold. I knew that boy was a hoe. I might just these perks killing me slowly. Feeling like I'm cold. You can't mad, nigga, hold me. If you wanna run up on me, shoot him like Ginobili. And I'm with this shit, little homie, yeah, like I'm Toby. And I'm with this shit, little homie, yeah, like I'm Toby. Like I'm Toby. Keep all that, like a skin, shoot her name, Toby. Keep all that tight, this shit straight to the neck, keep all that, yeah. Ooh, I'm hungry.
I'm starving.
Yo, Postmates, order whatever you want.
For real?
Yeah, go ahead.
Blueface, man, this is a fantastic job. Now I'm going to promote you to bus driver.
Ooh.
And Brian here is your new supervisor. Put it in, man.
Let's bust down, man.
Blueface, baby. Yeah, let me drive the bus. Used to ride the bus down. Now we're bus down. I just made 6 like a touchdown. I need it all when I touch down. Used to ride the bus down. Now we're bus down. I just made 6 like a touchdown. I need it all when I touch down. I used to roll in the metro. Rollie bus down like the metro. Bus down. $1 cars off the metro. I used to shop off the Lego. Now I go shop just to Lego. I ain't never had a school award. Spent 50,000 on a watch, and it came with an appraisal. Put a hole in a nigga. Now he looking like a bagel. How could I ever go broke? Never. If Cash Money is the label, bleed the block in a minivan.
Guided
drop something, I can't leave it. Walk got me pole, but this tech got him lean. Never let the beat get cold, where's the meat? Pull up on your block, then I bleed it. Slide, if I don't drop something, I can't leave it. Walk got me pole, but this tech got him lean. Never let the beat get cold, where's the meat? Fucking handgun, bitch, I brought a Mac in. Gotta keep it technical in case a nigga hack it. Block with a dick on my lap, I'm in traffic. My pistol bloated, ready to unload it. Pop up, least expected, like a notice. Famous crib, everywhere I go, people notice. I started to notice, you gotta watch the people closest. Dozing off in his Benz, cause I can board, not can focus. Block make them disappear, hocus pocus. I work too hard, bitch, I'm never lacking. I told bitches, you niggas typing on caption. I really poppin', you niggas need to stop capping. Pull up on your block, then I bleed it. Slide, if I don't drop something, I can't leave it. Walk got me pole, but this tech got him lean. Never let the beat get cold, where's the meat? Pull up on your block, then I bleed it. Slide, if I don't drop something, I can't leave it. Walk got me pole, but this tech got him lean. Never let the beat get cold, where's the meat? Pull up on your block, then I bleed it. Slide, if I don't drop something, I can't leave it. I don't get mad, dumb nigga, I get even. You been rapping, I just do this on the weekend. They don't wanna believe it, so I had to repeat it. They envy me, I'm MVP, this is my season. Creeping in the Jeep, turn this bitch to Jeepers Creepers. Treat my bitch like a pistol, no such thing as keepers. These bitches throwaways, bust ones that I throw away. I'm a fly crib, baby, I don't know no other way. Old school yard, bitch, pull up on your block, then I bleed it. Slide, if I don't drop something, I can't leave it. Walk got me pole, but this tech got him lean. Never let the beat get cold, where's the meat? Pull up on your block, then I bleed it. Slide, if I don't drop something, I can't leave it. Pole, but this tech got him lean. Never let the beat get cold, where's the meat?
Blueface, baby. Yeah, hey, bust down, Tatiana. Yeah, hey, I wanna see you bust down. Bust down, Tatiana. Bust down, Tatiana. I wanna see you bust down. Pick it up, now break that shit down. Break it down, speed it up, now slow that shit down on the gas. Slow it down, bust it, bust it, bust down, bust it, bust it, bust down on the gas. Oh, bust down, Tatiana. Bust down, Tatiana. I wanna see you bust down. Pick it up, now break that shit down. Break it down, speed it up, now slow that shit down on the gas. Slow it down, bust it, bust it, bust down, bust it, bust it, bust down on the gas. Cardiana, I was home with my kid, Mamiana. Real bitch, I don't be with all that drama. Nah, mommy, my business, I'm a bother, yeah. I ain't dragging, I'm lit like a tick. Don't clapping back, bitch, I'm clapping on the dick. Bust it, I'm a savage. Bitch, throw it back like a 10-year challenge. Take him to the crib, then I push him on the sofa. Have his breath smelling like pussy and mimosa. We in French, tell him beat it up. And if the pussy stop breathing, give it CPR. Play, think it's sit in my butt. I don't swallow plan B, I just swallow the nut. Pussy dope, I'm the dope dealer. And if your pussy good, shouldn't have to maintain the broke nigga. Real shit, real life, everybody gang bang. No, they ain't real right. Real right since I came in the game, been a real one. Real, and ain't shit changed, bitch, I'm still one. All facts, no cap, no cap. Daddy, how you like that? Ain't got no time for no subliminals. After a while, bitch, being petty just means you're miserable. Yeah, straight lane. A pussy, a buzz down, yours plain Jane. Make him go insane.
No, that is not good for you, sir. No.
skits and all that.
Finish Crip and all that. You know what's going on. Finish Crip and all that. Fuck street, bus line, and all that.
Keep that
Blood
shit out
killer
of
and all that.
nigga.
Get the gang tags, yeah. Watch shit, yeah. Damn, bitch. What are you talking about?
Little intro to school.
All the way,
Top, nigga! I think I could've hit him.
Hey guy, hey, smell my flower. Mmm. Hey man, what up? Die, potato. Mmm, yum. Hey, you know who's gay? You.
I like singing. I like dancing.
I like trains. Hey, it says gullible on the ceiling. Oh, so it does. Die, potato. Haha! They said I could never teach a llama to drive. No, llama, no!
Hey, that was the I'll be right back intro. So, yeah.
You can Postmate almost anything, like last-minute party favors. You can't Postmate a hot tub filled with champagne. But you can Postmate enough champagne to fill a hot tub. Postmates, get anything delivered. Well, almost anything.
Drop something, I can't leave it. Rock got me bold, but this tech got him lean. Never let the beat get cold, where's the mean? Pull up on your block, then I bleed it. Slide, if I don't drop something, I can't leave it. Rock got me bold, but this tech got him lean. Never let the beat get cold, where's the mean? Fucking handgun, bitch, I brought a Mac in. Gotta keep a tactical in case a nigga hack it. Block with a dick on my lap, I'm in traffic. My pistol bloated, ready to unload it. Pop up, least expected, like a notice. Famous Crip, everywhere I go, people notice. I started to notice, you gotta watch the people closest. Dozing off in his hands cause I can afford not to focus. Glock make him disappear. Hocus pocus. I work too hard, bitch. I'm never lacking. I told bitches, you niggas typing all captions. I really pop it. You niggas need to stop catching. Pull up on your block, then I bleed it. Slide. If I don't drop something, I can't leave it. Walk got me cold, but this tech got him lean. Never let the beat get cold. Where's the meat? Pull up on your block, then I bleed it. Slide. If I don't drop something, I can't leave it. Walk got me cold, but this tech got him lean. Never let the beat get cold. Where's the meat? Pull up on your block, then I bleed it. Slide. If I don't drop something, I can't leave it. I don't get mad, dumb nigga, I get even. You been rapping, I just do this on the weekend. They don't wanna believe it, so I had to repeat it. They envy me, I'm MVP, this is my season. Creeping in the Jeep, turn this bitch to Jeepers Creepers. Treat my bitch like a pistol, no such thing as keepers. These bitches throwaways, bust once then I throw away. I'm a fly crip, baby, I don't know no other way. Old schoolyard, bitch, yeah. Pull up on your block, then I bleed it. Slide, if I don't drop something, I can't leave it. Walk got me cold, but this tech got him lean. Never let the beat get cold, where's the meat? Pull up on your block, then I bleed it. Slide, if I don't drop something, I can't leave it. Walk got me cold, but this tech got him lean. Never let the beat get cold, where's the meat?
Let's go! Now for listen. To do my challenge, how that fast? It's Fortnite. I don't know how is it gonna be over that fast. It's just Fortnite. Whoa, can we swing this though?
Okay, class, settle down. Everybody take your seats.
Why does nobody ever show up to my class? Whatever. I'm still gonna take attendance anyways. Noah? Ryan? Absent. Blueface?
Yeah, hello. What this nigga talking about, man? Tell you I need 2 bands for the show, square the crib.
Oh, Blueface. How nice of you to finally show up.
If I show up, I need a bag for the show. Oh, damn.
Well, I'm not gonna give you a bag, so you can have a seat. Wait, what's in your...
Hi, I'm Lynette. Don't you think that keeping secrets could be hard sometimes?
Oh, shoot!
Well, the secret I'm having trouble hiding is, in fact, my own. I'm here because I want to confess something that I've been keeping to myself for way too long. Something I did that would ruin my reputation if people knew about it in my world. But to be truthful, I don't regret it. Not one bit. Because it's what ended up changing my life. First, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm only 16. But I'm also one of those girls who most people tend to stay away from.
Hey, I'm not no
Why,
girl.
do
I've
you
been
ask?
watching this
Well,
dumb
look at
story.
me. I dress and act in a way that can scare any living being. And no, it's not an act. I am really this way because I don't know how to be something else. Life has forced me to be like this. I should always be strong enough to defend myself because I'll never know who will try to hurt me, especially when I'm home around my father, Arnold. It's hard to even call him a father. I had to stand up to him my whole life. Every single time he tried to bring me down, I was not intimidated, despite the fact that he is a big, buffed police officer who scared the whole town. Unfortunately, I couldn't say the same about my mother. She is probably the sweetest woman I know. She had married Arnold when she was only 18, even though he was 10 years older than her. It was a traditional marriage, you could say. My grandparents were very religious, and they pressured her into marrying Arnold because they thought of him as a good husband who can take care of her. She had dreamt about becoming a businesswoman one day, but her parents never supported her, never even offered to send her to college. So when she married Arnold, her only job in life was to be a good, submissive housewife that obeyed his every word. And when she didn't, my father would make her suffer. The major advantage he had over her was that he controlled all the money and didn't allow her to work outside the house. I'm the man of the house, he always repeated. He would even remind her every now and then that her only job was to take care of the kids and stay in the kitchen. With the years passing, my father was able to crush every single dream and ambition my mom had, and she went from being this special, free-spirited individual to an obedient housewife whose opinion didn't even count. I felt so bad for her. Sometimes I cried all night, but when the sun shined, I was the strong, fearless Lynette, who could not show any weakness. I used to wonder how long I could pull that off before I broke into pieces, but soon enough, I came to realize that I had a breaking point. It all happened one morning. I woke up at 6 o'clock a.m. of loud screams coming from my parents' room. When I rushed in there,
don't you
the
go.
room looked messy,
You gonna
with
die.
lots of shredded paper all over the floor and bed. My mom was sitting on the floor, begging my
Look
father
at herself,
to stop
die in
or
the storm.
crying
That's
her
what I'm
eyes
talking
out.
about.
Even though this was
I
not
knew he
the
was
first
gonna die.
time I witnessed them fighting, I was shocked to see
Don't
my mother begging
I'm
him
trying to
like
boof
that.
away.
Get out, you nosy woman, he shouted at me.
There are lots of ways to spend money, right? But there are tons of ways to make money. Let me show you. Complete the task in 3 steps.
Me with the scariest voice. I will not, I said as I walked in the room. I picked up one of the shredded pieces of paper to see what was on it. It had lots of numbers and drawings that I didn't understand. But when I picked up another piece, I saw something written on the side that said, Business Plan for Beauty Product 1. And then it hit me. I understood why Arnold was so angry with my mother. She was pursuing her dreams behind his back. I know that it was not the right time and place, but at that moment, I felt proud of my mother. She was not as obedient as I thought she was. In fact, she was playing it smart. My thoughts were interrupted by Arnold's loud screams that brought me back to reality. He continued to destroy her work as he called her a worthless liar. Stop! My voice joined my mother's, but Arnold wouldn't, and I wasn't gonna give up that easy, especially this time. I ran towards him and grabbed his arms. I said stop, but he pushed me off. Even though at that point he had shredded every piece of my mom's papers, he didn't stop there. Instead, he headed towards my mom's closet, where she kept her stuff, and started destroying more of her things. What else are you hiding? He kept screaming. I could not take it anymore. I couldn't take the view of my mom laying on the floor sobbing while Arnold was destroying the little things she had. And before I knew it, with all the force in me, I ran towards him and jumped on his strong-built body, trying to disturb his movement. I clutched onto him like I had nothing to lose. I did not care what, if I got hurt, or even if he threw me out of the window. I just wanted him to stop. When I felt his hands pushing me away from him, like it was a piece of cake, I grabbed onto his hair and started pulling with all my power. He screamed in pain, and his movement started trembling. Finally, I thought, something that got him to stop. But before I knew it, things took a horrible turn. He was trying hard to push me off of him, and I was unable to keep up with his force, so I let go of him as he was pushing, and when that happened, I felt myself flying to the other side of the room. And that's when I fell on my mother, hitting her with all my body weight. Seconds after, I could feel the most horrible pain in my knee. When I moved, I could see that it had landed on my mother's arm. She screamed in pain. My arm! I'm sorry, I cried, and I quickly tried to get up to get her some ice. But I couldn't stand up. My knee was killing me. When my father saw what had happened, he got nervous and quickly called an ambulance. When we arrived at the hospital, we were told that my mother's arm was broken, and I suffered from minor injury in my knee. Arnold waited outside when a nurse came to talk with us. She insisted on knowing what happened, and most importantly, if Arnold had physically abused us. I kept quiet as my mother answered all of her questions about what happened. I wished my mother would say something that would get my father arrested. How amazing would it be if he could just leave both of us alone? As the nurse was leaving the room, I watched my hopes walking away with her. But I couldn't just go back home with him. I needed to do something. I turned to my mother and said, I'm going to the bathroom. I walked quickly enough to catch up to the nurse who left the room. Excuse me, I shouted. My mother is not telling the whole story, I said. I then went with the nurse and made up a different story that would definitely get my dad arrested. And of course, it worked. Shortly after, 2 police officers came, and they arrested Arnold and took him away to the police station. He was surprised.